What up, this is Rap HITZ. And so Wack 100 has been calling Pooh Shiesty a snitch since he came home early. And he got out, like, it seems, almost 2 years early. And Wack 100 is trying to call him a snitch like he told on somebody. And he seems to have a pattern of doing this. Anytime someone gets out just a little early, you know, he's trying to paint them with a snitch jacket. He's done this. He did that to little Zay Osama. He did the same thing and had to apologize. So he has this habit of trying to do that to rappers. But Pooh Shiesty's lawyer is coming out and he's defending Pooh Shiesty, vehemently defending Pooh Shiesty, because Pooh Shiesty's lawyer is saying, wasn't nobody to tell on. Look, let's hear what he has to say.
Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams gave up no one. Absolutely no one. We never cooperated with the government whatsoever. The paperwork that he's reading is that our defense was that we blamed the alleged victims, that the victims were trying to hold up and rob Pooh and his crew, and that's why the guns came out. The victim said, I don't have a gun, I never owned a gun, and through our investigation, and the evidence, we found not only did he own a gun, he had a firearm box in the trunk with ammunition in the trunk. Both of these alleged victims were total liars, totally full of shit. And that's why, instead of getting 10 years, the judge gave him under 5 years for a shooting case. Not because of any kind of, he cooperated. He didn't cooperate with shit.
What was cooperation was the amazing work of his lawyer, me, along with Sam Zegane. I don't want to forget Sam. See my clock in the back. You know what time it is. I don't want to forget my friend Sam, because Sam assisted in the case, but absolutely not one single defendant in that case flipped on anybody, because there was no one to flip on. They said Pooh was the shooter. They said one of the other guys was the shooter. None of them flipped on anybody. We all went ahead with it. We took the plea, which I wanted to go to trial. I thought it was a good trial as well. But we took the plea, and the judge ended up giving us just under 5 years. And with good behavior and an RDAP program, he got out in about 3 and change. So Wack 100, just to recap, Wack 100 is a moron. And what he is reading is as stupid as it sounds. That is all for now.
Now, y'all just heard this clown. Oh, I take it back. I can't call him that. I had to put the shiesty on. I think it fit the occasion. Say that they never cooperated with the government. They never cooperated with the government. The victims say we ain't had no guns, but Pooh and you proved they did have guns. And because of the information you gave on them to prove they had guns is the reason Pooh didn't get 10 years and got under 5. And you say you didn't cooperate, and you calling me a moron. We gonna run that back one more time. This shit.
So Pooh Shiesty's lawyer is right. The so-called victim was not a typical innocent victim. You see, this is why Pooh Shiesty only got 5 years, the lawyer was saying, and he was able to get out even earlier, probably with good behavior, maybe programs or something. You know what I'm saying? 3 and some change sounds about right to get out early. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that you don't have to do your full time, right? That's all I ever hear is, oh, you only got to do 85%. And stuff like that. But then when a rapper actually does like 85%, then, oh, now he's a snitch. What's up with Wack 100? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, this is pretty clear that dude just got out a little bit early. You know what I'm saying? Just probably for whatever reason. He did most of his time, you know? He did over half of his time. So the thing is, Wack thinks what? He should have got more time? How much time do you think he should have got? 10 years? The lawyer explained that. The so-called victim wasn't your typical innocent victim. So, of course, why would a judge slam you when the so-called victim is not so innocent? So I saw the same thing happen with Dirk and Vaughn and Zoo when they was in Atlanta. There was a so-called victim, but it turned out according to reports, it looked like this so-called victim was the one that kicked off the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why Dirk and Vaughn and all them was walking around like they wasn't worried about that case, because I saw that from the beginning. I was like, it sounds like that dude that they was letting off rounds at. At first they tried to say Dirk was the one letting off rounds, but it was pretty clear to me that it was most likely Vaughn or Zoo that was letting off the rounds, and most likely it was Vaughn. And they was trying to pin that on Dirk, and that didn't help their case either, trying to make Dirk the bad guy as usual. This is what they been trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But the so-called victim in that case sounded like he was the one that kicked it off with them. I don't know. They said he sold a Range Rover to Zoo, and that Range Rover got repossessed. So he like basically scammed Zoo out of a bag, and they ran into him. So this dude was Shiesty, and they ran into him at the club. That's the real story from what I heard. So this dude was not an innocent victim. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on with Pooh, is this dude that they're saying they let off rounds at or whatever sound very similar, where they're saying this dude had thumpers in the car, you know what I'm saying? And it sounded like he might have been almost kicking it off with Pooh and trying to rob Pooh, it sounds like. So now we're getting the full story. It wasn't like Pooh was just minding his business and decided to turn up on an op. You know what I'm saying? It sounds more like Pooh was minding his business and this dude tried to pull up on Pooh and rob him. And then, you know what I'm saying, coming from the streets, Pooh can't really tell the police nothing. He can't really make a statement. Otherwise, everyone really going to call him a snitch. You know what I'm saying? So he probably just went in, let them book him, and let the lawyer do the job. You know what I'm saying? That's what you pay lawyers for. You can sit there and let the lawyers do all the talking. Of course, the lawyers are going to do anything possible to get their client off as light as possible. The lawyer actually said he thinks they should have went to trial and beat the case and exposed this so-called victim. The so-called victim that sounded like was trying to slide on Pooh and them, trying to rob them. So, you know what I'm saying, for Wack to come out and call Pooh a snitch, that just doesn't make sense. The lawyer said, who are you going to tell on? They admitted, you know what I'm saying, they let off rounds. Who was Pooh telling on? What, the Vic? So what, you're supposed to just sit down, do your time, and not say nothing about the dude that kicked off the whole thing? That would just piss you off even more, I would think, sitting up in there for years and no one decides to bring up, you know, what really happened that night. What really happened that night with Pooh is, well, it sounded like dude was trying to slide. The so-called Vic was trying to slide on Pooh and them. So why not have the lawyer say that? That's the lawyer's job, is to expose, you know, things like that in the case, and not just let their client sit down. That's what you pay the lawyers for. You know what I'm saying? So what is Wack saying? I wonder if he's going to have to apologize to Pooh Shiesty like he did to little Zay Osama. This lawyer ain't playing. This lawyer is upset. This lawyer is pretty solid, it looks like, the way he's writing out for Pooh and letting the world know that Pooh never cooperated. He's saying there wasn't nobody to cooperate on. You know what I'm saying? The situation happened. They you know what I'm saying? Of course, it sounds like they brought it up. You know, the lawyer brought it up, not Pooh. It sounds like the lawyer, of course he's going to bring that up. He's saying this dude that, you know what I'm saying, the state wants to make, you know, in a case like this, I'm sure the state was preferring to make this dude sound like a straight up victim. Like Pooh was this monster criminal out here, just pulling up on people and letting off rounds at people and stuff. And that's the narrative they would have liked for Pooh to sound like a, you know, a straight up criminal out here, to give him the most time. The lawyer wasn't having it. That's his best defense is, you know, you dig in. Who is the so-called victim here? You know, you pull their background up. As a lawyer, you're going to want to pull their background up and see, you know, who this person was, and you want to get the real story. You want to know what really happened that day. You know what I'm saying? And your job is to negotiate that and you know what I'm saying, maybe get a sweet deal out of that. And that's what it sounded like happened. The lawyer was behind the scenes negotiating a sweet deal because he had he was probably telling the prosecutors, if this goes to trial, I got a good chance of beating this. It sounds more like a self-defense situation to me. You know what I'm saying? Letting off rounds at a robber. That sounds more like a self-defense situation to me. I think I heard another case like that where someone, you know what I'm saying, was almost getting robbed, and they, you know what I'm saying, they did what they had to do. Hurricane Chris went through a worse situation because he actually had to delete somebody that pulled up on him. Sounded like tried to, you know what I'm saying, he's just hanging out. Someone pulled up, tried to take something from him. And he had to delete the dude and got charged with it, charged with an M. Ended up going to trial and beating it. He just let everyone know what he let them know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Since when can you not let anyone know what happened? Well, you can't tell what happened. You know what I'm saying? Since when? Even if, you know, Pooh didn't do that, but what if he did? Like, would have that been that bad? Like, for him to say, hey, you know, I was chilling, this dude pulled up on me. So is that where snitching has gone, where you can't even say that now? You can't say what happened? I guess that's telling now, huh? That's crazy. Like, especially, I mean, if you're a law-abiding citizen, I guess you can say that. But I guess when people are saying, oh, so you're from the streets, right? So you're from the trenches, they're looking at Pooh like he's not allowed to defend himself. Well, he didn't defend himself. He had his lawyer do it, but I wouldn't have really even had a problem if he defended himself. You know what I'm saying? Like Hurricane Chris had to do. And explain, hey, you know what I'm saying, these ops pulled up on me. I had to do what I had to do. I saw the baby. He said one time, you know what I'm saying, he let off around. Somebody had climbed over his fence and was working his way up to his house, and he had to let off a few rounds at the dude. He hit him. I heard the 911 call. He talked about this dude on the ground. I had to, you know what I'm saying, he was on my property. What are you supposed to not say something? You supposed to not say nothing? You know what I'm saying? Then the police are going to be like, oh, well, this dude's sitting here popped and you're not telling us nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, at what point do you defend yourself and, you know, not sit down for years if you were in the right, if you justifiably had to, you know, if you're in a situation, you justifiably had to get yourself out of that situation and defend yourself. Well, it is what it is at that point. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. I ain't got no problems with Pooh Shiesty. I think Wack just trying to get views or something. He probably just trying to get views the way he always comes out here like this, trying to put a snitch jacket on someone. Something wrong with dude or something. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to, you know, to think that Pooh did, like, what paperwork is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, look, at this point, I mean, if Wack can deliver and come out with some solid evidence that Pooh told, I'm willing to hear it. But at this point, most people don't even care about stuff like this. I'm willing to hear it, but who really cares at this point? You know what I'm saying? Nobody, snitching is not something that people, the fans really don't care at this point. It's more like they just want to hear good music. They're not all trying to figure out who told and who didn't tell as much as a street person would. Someone like Wack, he's obsessed with this type of information. I don't think it's going to affect Pooh's career at all. I think Shiesty's career is going to be just fine. I don't think that he's going to have to wear the snitch jacket that Wack's trying to put on him unless he can get some solid evidence. And even if he does, I don't think it's going to really matter that much at this point. And I don't expect Wack to be able to come up with some paperwork. I don't think he's going to be able to provide that. So why would he be talking? Why would he be talking right now and trying to say that about him? To me, it's just basically, it looks like he just wants views and publicity. He's a publicity hound. You know what I'm saying? This is how he, I guess, generates his income at this point, is being a YouTuber and a podcaster and stuff like that. So I think he's just looking for the next story. Any story, anytime he can get people talking, anytime he can get, you know what I'm saying, his name in the media or in the algorithm. I think that's what he's doing now, because at this point, if you ain't got no job, you know what I'm saying, and you got bills, you really got to be out here chasing stories. You know what I'm saying? You got to chase these stories, because I think that's where Wack is now, where, you know, he needs them checks to come in. You know what I'm saying? He needs He needs that income. To me, that's what's going on. Is Wack needs the income, and you know, he's just going around chasing stories. To me, I don't think he even really cares at this point about if Pooh's a snitch or not. I don't think that's really high on his priority list. I think he's just looking for a payday. However he gets paid, a YouTube channel or, you know, different way. I know he likes to be in the algorithm. So he's going around kind of kicking it off with rappers. And I don't know if one day one of these rappers is gonna look like little Zay Osama wasn't really going. You know what I'm saying? That could have went left. That could have went left for Wack. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I ever really saw someone fire back at Wack like that. Like this dude, Zay Osama got a whole apology about a Wack. He wasn't going. I don't know, one of these days Wack might end up trying to put a snitch jacket on someone's name and they ain't gonna go. Cause you playing with their careers. You know what I'm saying? You taking food out their mouth. You trying to put a jacket on them and tarnishing their image. You know what I'm saying? And little Zay Osama sounded like he was about to crash out over that. He said it would have been, you know what I'm saying, you know, honor over everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Honor live or dishonor. Honor live or dishonor. So, look, that's about it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section. Let's get over 100 likes on this video and everything like that. Make sure you follow Rap HITZ on social media and all that. I'm out.